Why are you still thinking about what you could have done differently? Why are you replaying every argument, every cold shoulder, every moment you felt that pit in your stomach, telling you something was fundamentally broken? Let me answer that for you. You're doing it because you still think you're the victim in this story. You think the world, the system, and she dealt you a bad hand. Let me be the first one to tell you the unvarnished, brutal truth. Your marriage didn't fail because of one big mistake. It died a death of 1,000 cuts, and you were holding the knife for at least half of them. You were asleep at the wheel of your own life, and divorce was the car crash that finally woke you up. It wasn't the cause of your problems, it was the symptom of a deeper sickness, a sickness of complacency, of ignorance, of weakness. In this video, I'm not going to give you a shoulder to cry on. I'm going to give you the cold, hard lessons that crash is meant to teach you. I'm going to hand you the 18 brutal truths that will either bury you in bitterness or forge you into the man you were always meant to be. The choice is yours. Divorce feels like a death sentence, but it's not. It's a crucible. A crucible is a vessel used to heat substances to very high temperatures, to melt them down and burn away the impurities, leaving only the pure, valuable element behind. That's what this is. The life you knew, the man you thought you were, has been thrown into the fire. The heat is unbearable. It's designed to be. It's burning away your naivete, your weakness, your illusions. What remains at the bottom of that pot, when the fire finally dies down, is the core of who you are. The question is, will it be a pile of worthless ash, or will it be pure, unbreakable steel? I remember when I was 35, I lost a 7-figure deal that I'd worked on for 2 years. A partner I trusted betrayed me. One took the entire project to a competitor, and I didn't just lose the money. I lost my reputation. I was a pariah. For a month, I barely left my apartment. I felt exactly how you probably feel right now, humiliated, angry, and powerless. One morning, I looked in the mirror and I saw a ghost, a victim. And in that moment, something snapped. I realized the deal wasn't the problem. The betrayal wasn't the problem. I was the problem. I had become so focused on the prize that I ignored the red flags in the man I parted with. I had become complacent. That failure was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to rebuild my entire philosophy, to trust my gut, to vet people ruthlessly, and to build a business so resilient that no single person could ever cripple me again. Your divorce is that moment. It's your crucible. And the lessons you learn in this fire will determine the entire future of your life. The biggest mistake you're making right now, the one that's keeping you chained to the past, is believing the lies you told yourself during your marriage. You need to dismantle these illusions, piece by painful piece. The first and most dangerous illusion is this. You believe your good intentions should have been enough. This is the first brutal lesson. Your good intentions are worthless. You think because you worked hard, because you didn't cheat, because you were a good guy, you deserved a happy marriage. The universe does not reward intentions. The marketplace does not reward effort. It rewards results. And the feminine heart does not respond to your intentions. It responds to your strength, your presence, and your direction. You could have the best intentions in the world to build a skyscraper. But if you don't understand architecture, engineering, and physics, you're just going to have a pile of rubble. Your marriage is that pile of rubble. You intended for it to be a monument, but you never learned the blueprint of male-female dynamics. This leads directly to the second lesson. Comfort is the enemy of attraction. You got the girl, you got the ring, you got the house, and then you stopped. You stopped growing, you stopped evolving, you stopped being the man she fell in love with. You got comfortable. You put on 20 pounds, you traded the gym for the couch, you traded your ambitions for watching other men achieve theirs on television. You thought comfort was the goal, but in reality, comfort is a graveyard where attraction goes to die. Women are attracted to a man on his path, a man in motion, a man who is striving and conquering. The moment you settle, the moment you signal that this is good enough, you become a utility. You become a provider, a roommate, a fixture in the house like the refrigerator. And a woman will never, ever be loyal to her refrigerator. It's useful, it's reliable, but it doesn't inspire a single drop of raw primal desire. You traded your sword for a remote control, and then wondered why your queen started looking for a king. The third illusion to be shattered is the most painful for your ego. Lesson 3. She was never yours. You never owned her. She was a volunteer in your life, and one day she stopped volunteering. The marriage certificate, the vows, the shared bank account, those are contracts, not chains. They are agreements, and agreements can be broken. Men have a deep-seated, almost primal need for ownership and certainty. We build fences, we sign contracts, we create structures. We want to believe that once a decision is made, it's permanent. But female nature is fluid, like water. It responds to the container it's in. When you are a strong, solid container, a man with a mission, with boundaries, with an unshakable core, her energy filled that space. But when your container started to crack, when you became weak, complacent, or needy, that water began to leak out. It will always seek a stronger container. Your outrage and shock that she left is rooted in a false premise, that she belonged. To you, she didn't. She belonged to her own hypergamous instinct, and you failed to continue being the best option. This harsh reality is compounded by the fourth brutal lesson. The legal system is not your friend. You walked into that marriage thinking it was a romantic partnership. You walked into divorce court and realized it's a brutal, cold financial transaction where you are presumed to be the loser. You believe in fairness, in justice, in 50-50. The court believes in formulas, in precedents that overwhelmingly favor the woman, especially if children are involved. They don't care about who was right or wrong. They don't care about your sacrifices or her infidelity. It's a machine designed to reallocate your resources. The shock of seeing your life's work, your future earnings, carved up and handed to someone who no longer respects you, is a trauma that most men never recover from. It's a devastating lesson in the reality of state power and the naivete of thinking a legal contract has anything to do with love. And as you're reeling from this, the fifth lesson hits you from the side. Your friends will disappear. You thought you had a band of brothers, but in the aftermath, you'll discover that many of those friendships were couple-based. They were friendships of convenience. Your wife was likely the social director, or the one organizing the barbecues and dinners. When she's gone, so is the social glue. Men will awkwardly take sides, or, more often, they'll simply retreat because your situation makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to look at their own marriages and see the cracks. Your pain is a mirror they don't want to look into. You'll be left with a handful of true allies, if you're lucky. This painful culling of your social circle forces you to confront the man in the mirror, alone, without the buffer of shallow camaraderie. You thought you were the good husband, the hard worker, the loyal friend. You did everything the script told you to do. And now you're alone in an empty house, your bank account is drained, and you're wondering what the hell went wrong. What went wrong is that you were playing a game without knowing the rules. Now it's time to learn them. The old you has to die. The nice guy, the complacent husband, the naive partner, he has to be buried. What rises from his ashes is a new man, a sovereign man. The solution is not to find another woman or to get your old life back. The solution is to become a man who builds a life so powerful, so fulfilling, that a woman's presence is a welcome addition, not a necessary component. This new identity rests on 3 unbreakable pillars. The first pillar is rebuilding your kingdom, which is your internal sovereignty. This is where the real work begins. And it starts with lesson number 6. Your purpose is your only true partner. A woman can leave you. Your business can fail. Your body can betray you. But your purpose, your mission in this life, that is the only thing that is truly yours. For years, your purpose was likely her, the family, the marriage. That foundation has been ripped out from under you. Now you must find a new one anchored in something greater than another person's approval. What is the dent you want to make in the universe? Is it building a business, mastering a skill, creating a legacy? Find it. Obsess over it. Your purpose is your new North Star. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning when grief is trying to pull you back under the covers. I have built and sold 3 different companies. In each one, there were moments of intense focus where my relationships took a back seat. The women in my life who understood that, who saw that my mission fueled the man they were attracted to, they stayed. The ones who saw my mission as a competitor, they left. Your purpose is the ultimate filter. It attracts the right women and repels the wrong ones. The second part of your kingdom is your physical form. Lesson 7 is, your body is your armor. In the aftermath of divorce, you are at war. A war against depression, against bitterness, against apathy. You cannot fight a war in a weak, broken-down vessel. The gym is not about getting revenge bods to post on Instagram. It is about forging discipline. It's about taking control of the one thing in the universe you have absolute dominion over, your own body. Every rep, every drop of sweat is a declaration of war against the man you used to be. You're not just building muscle, you're building resilience. You're teaching your mind, through physical hardship, that you can withstand pain and come back stronger. When I was going through my own crucible moment, the gym was my sanctuary. I couldn't control my business partner's betrayal, but I could control the weight on the bar. That feeling of control, of tangible progress, was the first step to reclaiming my power in every other area of my life. Now that you have a purpose, and you're forging your armor, you must learn lesson 8. Solitude is your training ground, not your prison. You are going to be alone more than you ever have been. Your instinct will be to fill that silence. With noise, with booze, with casual dates, with anything to avoid the deafening roar of your own thoughts. Do not do it. You must sit in that empty room and face the man who lives there. You must learn to enjoy your own company. Solitude is where you strategize, where you heal, where you reconnect with your own soul. It's where you shed the identity that was half of a couple and discover who you are as a sovereign individual. Learn a new skill. Read the books you never had time for. Take a trip by yourself. Become so comfortable with your own solitude that companionship becomes a choice, not a need. A needy man is a repulsive man. A man who chooses to be with a woman because he wants to share his already amazing life is the most attractive man in the world. As you spend time in solitude, you will be ambushed by waves of emotion. Anger, sadness, grief. This brings us to lesson 9. Your emotions are signals, not your masters. The old you was probably either emotionally constipated, unable to express anything, or emotionally incontinent, letting your feelings dictate your actions. The sovereign man is different. He views his emotions as data. Anger is a signal that a boundary has been crossed. Sadness is a signal that you've lost something valuable. Fear is a signal that you are outside your comfort zone. Acknowledge the signal. Analyze the data. But do not let the signal drive the car. You are the driver. You make decisions based on logic, on principles, on your mission, not on a fleeting emotional state. This is emotional discipline, and it's a superpower. It allows you to interact with your ex-wife about the kids without getting drawn into a fight. It allows you to navigate the dating world without getting destroyed by rejection. You feel everything, but you are controlled by nothing. Finally, to complete the foundation of your internal kingdom, you must embrace lesson 10. You must grieve the death of the man you were. You're not just grieving the loss of your wife or your family unit. You're grieving the death of the future you thought you were going to have. You're grieving the man who believed in that future, the naive man who thought love was enough. You have to let him die. You have to hold a funeral for him. Acknowledge his sacrifices, his mistakes, his hopes. And then you have to let him go. Because as long as you are trying to resuscitate that man, you can never become the new one. This isn't about forgetting, it's about integrating. The lessons from his failures become the wisdom of the new man you are forging. Once your internal kingdom is secure, you can move to the second pillar, redefining the rules of engagement, or your external sovereignty. This governs how you interact with the world, especially women, from this point forward. Lesson 11 is the gatekeeper. Vetting is everything. You failed to vet your first wife properly. You likely ignored red flags because you were blinded by beauty, by loneliness, or by the simple desire to follow the social script. Never again. From now on, you are the gatekeeper of your life. You don't let women in based on how they make you feel in the moment. You grant access based on their character, their values, and their actions over time. Watch how she treats service staff. Listen to how she talks about her exes. Observe if her words align with her actions. You are not dating to fill a void anymore. You are interviewing candidates for the sacred role of partner in your kingdom. And most will not qualify. Be ruthless in your vetting process. I once dated a woman who was stunningly beautiful and incredibly charming, but I noticed she was always subtly critical of her friends behind their backs. I knew right then, if she does that to them, she will one day do that to me. I ended it. Your peace is more valuable than her beauty. This leads directly to Lesson 12, the walls of your kingdom. Your boundaries are non-negotiable. The old you probably had weak or non-existent boundaries. You said yes when you meant no. You tolerated disrespect to keep the peace. You compromised on your core values. That man is dead. The new you understands that your boundaries are the definition of your self-respect. You state them calmly, clearly, and early. And you enforce them with action, not with angry words. If a woman is consistently late, you stop making plans with her. If she disrespects you, you walk away. You don't argue, you don't explain. Your action is the explanation. This is not about being a jerk. It's about teaching people how to treat you. Women, especially high-quality women, do not respect a man without boundaries. They test them. They push on them to see if the structure is solid. When they find a man whose frame is made of steel, they feel safe. They can relax into their feminine energy because they know your masculine structure can hold them. Inside your kingdom, you must understand the mechanics of intimacy. Lesson 13. Sex is a barometer, not a guarantee. In your marriage, you probably used sex as a tool for connection, or a way to patch things up after a fight. You may have even seen its absence as the problem itself. That's backward. Sex is not the glue that holds a relationship together. It is the barometer that indicates the health of the relationship. A great sex life is the result of respect, polarity, and attraction that is being generated outside the bedroom. When she respects your mission, when she feels your masculine presence, when she admires your strength, sex is the natural, explosive consequence. If the sex dies, don't try to fix the sex. Fix the underlying dynamics. Re-establish your leadership. Reignite the mystery. Re-engage with your purpose. When you fix the man, the barometer will start to rise again. Stop chasing sex and start building respect. This requires a fundamental shift in your priorities, which is Lesson 14, perhaps the most important of all. Never make a woman the center of your universe. Again, this was your cardinal sin. You put her on a pedestal. You made her happiness your primary mission. And in doing so, you destroyed her attraction for you. A woman wants to be the most important thing in your life, but she never wants to be the center of it. The center of your life must be your purpose. She can be your cherished partner, your queen who sits on the throne beside you, but you must always be the king of your own kingdom. Your mission comes first, your self-respect comes first, your principles come first. When she sees that you would be willing to lose her rather than betray your purpose or your principles, her respect and attraction for you will ignite. It's the ultimate paradox. The more willing you are to walk away, the more she will want you to stay. Finally, you must protect the resources of your kingdom. Lesson 15. Your wealth is your weapon and your shield. Protect it. You learned the hard way that love does not protect your assets. The court system will strip you bare without a second thought. From this day forward, you view your finances with cold, strategic clarity. If you ever consider marriage again, a prenuptial agreement is not an option. It is a law of your kingdom. It's not about planning for failure. It's about being a prudent king who protects his domain. You must become financially literate. Understand investments, assets, and liabilities. Build a fortress of financial sovereignty so that no person and no court can ever threaten your stability again. Your money is a tool. It buys you freedom, it buys you options, and it buys you peace of mind. Never again will you be financially vulnerable to the whims of another person's heart. The final pillar is mastering the long game, or legacy sovereignty. This is about looking beyond your immediate pain and building a future worthy of the man you are becoming. This brings you to lesson 16. Your children are watching. If you have children, this may be the most important lesson of all. The divorce will hurt them. But what will damage them far more is watching their father crumble into a bitter, resentful victim. They're watching you to see how a man handles adversity. Do you badmouth their mother? Do you wallow in self-pity? Or do you handle yourself with dignity, with strength, with resilience? You have a sacred duty to model masculine virtue for them. Even if you only see them on weekends, your presence and your example are monumental. Be the stoic, unshakable father, the rock they can cling to in the storm. Your resilience is the greatest gift you can give them. Show them that a man can lose everything and still build a new kingdom from the ashes. To do this, you must undertake the most difficult task. Lesson 17. Forgiveness is a selfish act. You must forgive her, not for her. You don't even have to tell her. You do it for you. Bitterness is a poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. It will eat you alive. It will corrupt your soul and curdle every future relationship you have. Forgiveness is not saying what she did was okay. It is not forgetting. It is the conscious decision to release the debt. You are cutting the energetic cord that ties you to the pain of the past so you can be free to build your future. It's a strategic decision. You are a king, and you cannot afford to have your judgment clouded by the poison of resentment. Forgive her, and in doing so, set yourself free. This all culminates in the final 18th brutal lesson. Freedom is more valuable than companionship. When you first divorced, the loneliness was probably a crushing weight. The primary goal was to find someone, anyone, to fill that void. But as you walk this path, as you rebuild your kingdom and forge your sovereignty, a profound shift occurs. You begin to value your freedom more than you crave companionship. The freedom to pursue your mission without compromise. The freedom to live by your own rules. The freedom of a quiet morning with nothing but your own thoughts. You realize that the goal was never to replace your ex-wife. The goal was to build a life so complete, so rich, so deeply fulfilling on its own, that you no longer need a woman to feel whole. And of course, in that exact moment when you need nothing from them is when they will find you most irresistible. Let's be clear about the two roads in front of you. If you ignore these lessons, if you choose the path of bitterness and victimhood, I can tell you exactly what your life will look like in 10 years. You'll be the same man, just older, more resentful, and more alone. You'll be sitting in a bar telling anyone who will listen how your ex-wife ruined your life. Your body will be soft, your finances will be a mess, and your relationship with your children will be strained because they can't stand the cloud of negativity that surrounds you. You will look at other men who are happy, successful, and with beautiful women, and you will hate them for it because they are a living reminder of the man you failed to become. That is a life of quiet, desperate misery, a self-inflicted prison sentence. But if you take these lessons to heart, if you embrace the fire of the crucible and allow it to forge you, your future will be unrecognizable. In 10 years, you will wake up in a body that is strong and capable. You will look at a bank account that reflects your discipline and your value. You will have a life built around a mission that excites you every single morning. Women will be a source of pleasure and fun in your life, not a source of validation or stress. You will be a pillar of strength for your children, a living example of resurrection. You will have something that no one can ever take from you again, an unshakable inner peace, born from the knowledge that you faced the absolute worst, and you did not just survive, you conquered. So remember this, the fire of divorce did not come to destroy you. It came to burn away the weak, complacent man you had allowed yourself to become. It came to reveal the king that was buried underneath all the excuses and illusions. Stop staring at the ashes of your old life. Your new kingdom will not build itself. Your throne is waiting. This is not a game. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your one and only life. I have given you the blueprint, the hard-earned lessons from the fire. But you are the one who has to pick up the tools and start building. Do not waste this pain. It is the most powerful fuel you will ever be given. I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Go down to the comments and write, in all caps, I will rebuild. No excuses, no stories. Just that statement. A declaration to yourself and to every other man here that the old you is gone and the work has begun. If you are serious about this journey, if you are done being a victim and ready to become a king, then subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. This is your new training ground. Welcome to the reconstruction.